So while we were at grandma's one time, Uncle Brian took me for a golf cart ride. There's like goats there. They have a pet deer named Willow. We were over at the farm for a bit, said hi to Braden and whatnot. And then after that, on the way home, and Uncle Brian, he had a beer with him. But there was still like a little bit, like, you know how like when you drink a beer or something? Like sometimes there's like a little bit of like it didn't really happen for this drink right here. But there's a little bit left in the top part, like up here. And then there's always, you know, a little bit left in the can from like spit or whatnot. Well, this dude, we're just going up this hill, right? And then this dude comes, like, he was like 21 years old in a gray Chevy. And he comes flying around the corner, almost hits us. And so Uncle Brian grabs his can and he goes, I'm going to do it with this empty one. He just goes onto that dude's car. Well, the dude had his driver's side window down. Some of it went inside the freaking window. This dude stops and he's like slids around, and then he comes up beside us, and now we're both going up the hill. And this dude comes up and he's got a water bottle as he's rolling down his passenger side window. He's driving alongside us and we're right here. He's getting ready to throw this water bottle out and he throws it, but it doesn't make it all the way out the freaking window. And so it bounces back in. And so now he's really pissed off because now his whole passenger side seat's wet, and plus he got beer in his face. And so this dude wants us. And so there's this house right here where this dude, he's got his headphones on. He's probably listening to music, or he's got, you know, whatnot. But he's just working on his truck, you know, like nothing. We're about probably 3 or 4 feet away from him. Freaking cut through his yard in the golf cart, go straight behind him. And then we cut through the pine trees, get onto Fairlane Road. And then we're on Fairlane Road, and then we cut back onto Marshall. And then we take Marshall down to this subdivision. And Silverside's the road that my grandma lives on. So we cut through the subdivision, and then we cut through Crazy Annie's yard, and we cut through someone else's. This dude in the car is following us this whole freaking time. And actually, when we drove behind the guy who was working on his truck, the dude almost pulled up right behind him, but then he backed out of his driveway. Now we're on Marshall, and he's chasing us down Marshall, cuts into the neighborhood with us. Well, we cut through all these people's yards, get through back into my grandma's. We pull it into the freaking garage, and then all we do is we just grab 2 lawn chairs, and we set them right behind the golf cart, and we were both sitting there. And this dude drove by because he had to go all the way around. And so we had to go take Marshall all the way down to Silverside. Then he gets on that back drive, and he drove by probably 3 or 4 times. And then he looks up the driveway, and he just sees us sitting there, but he didn't see the golf cart. So he didn't drive. So he just kept driving by. We drove by probably like 4 or 5 times. And that was back in summer of 2012. Yeah, that was my first real Dukes of Hazzard experience. And it was pretty freaking